Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hopefully you're doing well. Thanks for coming on by. My name is indeed Bird Dog. Wait a minute. No, my name's not Bird Dog John anymore. My name is John. I am pretty much just a live streamer now, and what I do is I talk about technical things and take questions from the audience. So if you want to ask me any questions or anything like that, jump into the chat and at least let me know that you're here. If not, you can certainly just come along for the ride. I got a couple of topics that I want to talk about today, but first things first is I need to check my audio and make sure that that's actually going out. It appears to be in vMix going out. Hey-oh. All right, so that is running. And we will just turn off the music, I guess. We'll just go with that for now. First and foremost, well, lots of things actually, but first of all, I need to apologize. Last week, I was out of town on Thursday. We were in Kentucky on Thursday, and then drove back that afternoon, and then was going to do this show on Friday, and the kids are home from spring break, and a whole bunch of things are going on, and so I did not do it. And I left no explanation as to why. So that's my bad, and I apologize for being MIA. It's really bad to miss a week entirely in the streaming world, and so you pay the price for that eventually. But hopefully you haven't abandoned me too much, and we'll be able to jump back into things, especially about what's going on in the camera industry, and I've got some ideas about what I want to do next. I'm on the cusp of designing a recording space for multiple reasons, not only for this show, but also for audio recording. I want to have like an actual room to record in that's quiet, and I want to have a space to record video. So it's kind of a multi-purpose use, but all of it around AV, and I could always use some assistance with ideas about what to do about that. Everything from the studs up. I'm going to basically, I'm going to build a place in my backyard to do that, and then I get to spend the money and the time making it as good or as bad as I possibly can. So always interested in knowing more about what people have used, what people have experienced, things to avoid, things to think about. That conversation needs to happen, and so we'll talk about that today at some point. The other thing is so a couple of alterations to this studio space. Now, first and foremost, we talked about this a little while ago, that I am using a Confidence monitor now that is just a cheapo one. I actually did a show on it just to talk about why it is that I might do something like that, but it means that I'm looking at you in the lens and not looking off to the side where my computer screens are, because I have 6 screens looking at me technically, and I would rather be looking at you. So that I like this. It breaks that fourth wall, but it also means that you are kind of invited into this conversation, and you and I can have a chat about that. So I've added officially added the Confidence monitor where the camera is housed. I was actually going to show you a couple of pictures. I need to upload them just to my photos real quick. But if I took a couple pictures this morning just to show you that rig so that you could have a good idea as to what it is that looks like. And I will pull that up while we chat. So have a little bit of a additional rig. I also purchased a new Elgato light. And so I have my key light, which is up here. And then I have my fill light now, and they're both on the same button in Companion. And so I can turn them off and on with one click of a button, and they're both wireless and they're both set to the same temperature. And this one is not quite as bright as this one to give that shadowy effect, but I think it's better than having the color light kind of doing the fill. This way you can see my whole face and then the colors are in the background. I also moved, as you recall, I was having issues where the power would go out. It would trip the breaker at the house. And so I just realized I bought a replacement breaker. Anyways, it would trip the breaker at the house because the new rules in new construction is that you're supposed to have this breaker that will sense fluctuations in the current. And it's really annoying because if it senses anything, they're hypersensitive. So if it senses anything, it'll kick it off. Well, anytime I would turn on my floodlights that were for basically just the color behind me, it would go for a couple of minutes and then it would kick off. So now what I've done is I've moved those onto a battery backup, which basically I think they were the things that were causing the fluctuation. So I've put it on a battery backup, which will clean up that signal and deliver a constant electrical signal to that. So it'll filter that electricity and then put them out. Now, they are the only place that I could have them where I could still remote control them are actually on the surge protection and the battery. But so if the power goes out, the lights will stay on. But that's not necessarily, it wasn't by design. I could just add a like a power strip to it and move it off to just the surge protection. But there we go. So the lights are on. I'm hoping that everything stays on. I actually don't have the room lights on today. And these lights are powered through my computer. Matter of fact, this new light from Elgato is powered via USB. So there's a battery in it. And I can disconnect it and run and gun with it. And they said the battery will last a couple of hours, which is impressive. But I actually have it hard lined in to USB, and that's just being charged off of the computer. So a little additional power coming in off the computer today, but it gives me my fill light, which is really nice. I liked having that this kind of 3-point lighting system set up. So that seems to be working quite well. Now, here is that setup that I had going. And as you can see here, I've got on the bottom corner, I have this is the monitor that's actually coming off of the camera. However, it's not running right now because I don't have it powered. But there is a little Feel World screen that's at the bottom that I use to just verify what it is that the camera is doing. It shows all my settings and everything like that. Then inside the conference monitor, there is that screen. See that little blue light? That screen is showing my picture, which is what you're seeing there. That's showing that on that piece of that reflective confidence monitor teleprompter thing. And that is just Studio Monitor. That screen is actually my secondary computer, my old vMix machine. And so that screen is 1080p and it's showing the desktop. Now everything's flipped because it's on a confidence monitor. So what I do there is I turn on Scan Converter and turn on the KVM option. And then I can control that computer through my main machine through Studio Monitor, which is super convenient. So now I've got my confidence monitor showing, which is just Studio Monitor, shows my computer. I can change that source if I want, just in case, I need to show something else or I need to see something else. For example, when I do meetings with people, I usually use StreamYard still, and StreamYard has the ability to put us all on the same screen. And so I put StreamYard on the screen instead, and then I put it on here, and then I do a screen capture inside Studio Monitor. So I'm looking at the people in the lens, but I can see what it is that I'm showing. And then that new key light. Now the key light kind of got cut off there because I had to take the picture lower so that my phone wasn't in the image. But that key light is just a little mini Elgato light, and that's actually a fill light, and I'm using it just through Companion, which you just link. You make another companion connection with that light, and then you add a step to the button. And so pretty straightforward. I can show that if you want, but when I click on the button now, you'll see my lights turn off. Ooh, and then I can turn them back on. So super simple, all done. Now those lights are controlled over the network, over Wi-Fi, which I'm not thrilled about, but it's fine. It's not a huge deal. So then the next picture, I believe, is this way. Yeah, so this is the back of that rig. So there it is, that Elgato light. I do have a Rode microphone system, as you all know. I have if you've been watching this channel for a while. So I have in my possession a Rode Wireless Go. This is just the first version of this. This little microphone works so great, especially outdoors. I recorded some class sessions that we did outside back in August and just recorded them to a handheld recorder over just a little auxiliary cable. This is the Zoom H1, I believe, no, F1, Field Recorder 1. This thing, if you want to take just straight audio and you're just going in either via line in, or you can get the attachments which go on the top. So you can get like a shotgun attachment. Sorry, I'll try and have that focus on that. You can get a shotgun attachment that clips into there, and then you can turn this into various microphone types. You can, this little thing, as long as you have it powered via battery, okay, don't trust I mean, you can, but I would prefer to run 5-volt DC over USB, which is here on the side. You can put two AAAs in there, and they work all right, other than if you were needing to go for a really long time. And for the price, for the expense, which is very minimal, you can get a battery pack for like $20-30 and run that thing for weeks. So I have a few battery packs that I use when I go out into the field, in particular when I go camping. Some of you guys know that I like to go camping. So when I go camping, I have a few battery packs laying around my office. There's 5 in here somewhere. There's also a little like swag one that I got from Dell Computers. But this is an Anker. This is a serious one that was actually given to me as a going away gift from my landlord when I left Bird Dog. He gave me this, and this thing is such a beast. It is the 335 power bank, which is PowerCore 20,000 milliamps. And if I went to camp where we don't have any power, and I charged my field recorder, my Rode microphones, my camera. Oh, no, not the camera. Rode microphones. Oh, my 360 camera. I powered everything except the camera, which has a big battery on it, which you can see actually here in this picture. That's a newer battery, 99-watt battery. I powered everything I needed except for the camera off of that battery bank. And at the end of the week, I plugged the newer battery bank into the Anker, and it charged up that battery again for the end of the week. So I had ample power that I needed with that one battery bank. Now I took all 4, or I think I took 3 of them, which is overkill. But when you're in the woods and you don't have access to an outlet at all, it's good to have options. And so that's what I did with power out in the field. Okay, so we are going to jump over here and check. Oh, hey, Angus, how's it going? Morning. Driving to a gig, so I can't really hang around today, but I'll listen in for the next 20 minutes or so. Excellent. Okay, so that was sent 1 minute ago. So you've got 19 minutes. So I did make a coffee, and then I walked up here this morning and realized I already had half a cup. So this one I like whipped the half and half, so it keeps the heat in longer. I've noticed that if I mix it with half and half, it's fine, but my room is fairly well air circulated. Praise Alleluia, because in Clarkson I was sweating bullets. So this room is actually quite comfortable to be in. But it cools my coffee really fast. So I actually have to chug it, or if I whip I don't know if you can't see that. But anyways, if I whip the half and half and pour it in on top, it acts as like an insulator. And so the heat stays in longer. So it's a good day to be alive. And that means as I am talking on this show, I might have hot coffee in the next 15 minutes, which is nice. So who knows? We'll give it a test. Anyways, some of my equipment, I'd be happy to go over any of that if anybody's interested, but I've got various things that I use. And the Rode microphones, I actually do have additional like lav mics that I can tape on. I did shows at Bird Dog about that. Oh, speaking of Bird Dog, a week ago, Monday, so not this Monday, but last Monday, there was a live show out of Melbourne of Dan doing like a live Q&A, and that was pretty cool. He had some technical problems, but that's just new to streaming stuff, so it's no big deal. But I did watch it live and participated. And one of the questions was, "Hey, I'm looking for the X4, and it was announced at IBC. At IBC, you said we don't announce things unless they're ready to ship, and so I'm looking around, but nobody has any. They're all out of stock, or all new product, or all unavailable." So he said on the show, it's documented, he said, yes, we're having issues getting past the tariffs into the U.S., and so they should be there within a week, and expect that update. I believe that. However, I did go to the European sites and confirm that they're not available in Europe either. So I know the distributors in Europe because I worked at Bird Dog for almost 6 years, and I just went to a bunch of the resellers from the distributors, and they were unavailable in the UK. So, and not just the UK, but in Europe in general. So other European countries as well. So they weren't available in the States, and they weren't available in Europe. It has been 2 weeks basically since that announcement, almost 2 full weeks, 2 business weeks for sure. But that show was Monday afternoon Central Time here in the U.S., or Tuesday morning his time, and it is now Thursday morning Central Time, or almost Friday morning in Melbourne. So I haven't done this yet. I've actually been waiting for this show to go to bnhphoto.com and to look this up. So I'm excited to see. Now, B&H is closed, so if it's not here, we'll try somewhere else. But we're just going to type in Bird Dog X4 and new item coming soon. Pre-order, available for pre-order. Okay, so they're closed because of a holiday, and so let's just Adorama. Is that how do you spell that? Adorama. Let's just Google that. I think I spelled it wrong. Did you mean Adorama? Yes, I did. So Adorama, this is another reseller, both of them out of Broadfield, by the way, Broadfield Distributing, who has been a major player of Bird Dog devices for, well, since the beginning, to be honest with you. X4, Bird Dog X4, Bird Dog X4, new arrival, new item, free shipping, select options, add to cart. Is this item actually shippable? Let's just do this, save and continue. Shipping address. Is it actually there? All indications point to yes. Be the first review. It's a new arrival. Okay. Let's try one more because it's not obvious. So Starin Distributing is another distributor of Bird Dog products. X1 Ultra. Search. There it is. Listing price $21.95. And then is there a where to buy button? Okay, so they have it on the website. Still nowhere to actually purchase it here. Who else do we have? Trying to just think. I mean, we could just Google it, I guess. If I just type that in and say shopping, Bird Dog's website, X Series, Holden. I'll go there in a minute. Video Experts, that's a European site. Ultra White Macro Tech Shop. Let's open that one. Broadfield News. When was this posted? Doesn't say. Well, let's open Broadfield News then, because maybe it'll say that it's available now. Video Data. There, these guys. This is in Hamburg, so we will check that one out. Okay. So Holden, this is European. Let's go to Broadfield first. X4 state-of-the-art camera, blah, 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 blah. X5 Ultra. Whoops, I think that's a typo. Halo Tally, Sync, ND, blah, 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 blah. Where are we? So nowhere here on a U.S. site that says it's available for purchase. In Europe, I might need to translate this website to English. This is a German website. There we go. Shipping cost, delivery date open. I don't know what that means. Probably a German term. All right, so this is in English, usually dispatches between 5 and 10 days. Okay. So is it officially available? Quantity required. Okay. So I don't know. I don't know if it's available or not. Chad says it's at Full Compass as well. Hey, what's going on, Jeremy? All right, let's check out Full Compass. And we're just going to put in Bird Dog. Whoops. The X4. There it is. Loading. It's good coffee. Okay, let's go ahead and load Full Compass. If you're having website problems, I can't blame you for that, but nothing. Okay, here we go. View options, brand new. Select models, low price guarantee. More on order, usually available for shipping 5 to 9 more business days. Place your order and reserve your place in line. What about this one? So they don't have any in stock, is what that's saying. All right. So when was IBC? You know, like if we open a calendar, or we just go here and say IBC 2024, like the US and Europe are neck and neck. Okay, it was September. Oh, whoops. That's next year's. 2024 dates. IBC 24 is Amsterdam. September 13th to 16th. Okay. So that was a month ago is when this show, because it's the 17th now. So that show has officially been a month ago. Now Dan is on record saying we're really excited, and our new rule is when we launch, we are ready to sell. Now I know that when I entered the manufacturing world for broadcast cameras, there is a bit of wordsmithing going on, because available for purchase means that companies will take your money. But to the customer, I think it means I can buy it now. So I'm a bit confused by that. I think we're still holding fast to the idea that no, it means that you can buy it. It's not quite ready yet, or it's not in the hands of our retailers yet. But I actually think that, and I was told this by a distributor, okay, by a sales team in distributing, not by Bird Dog, but that companies, manufacturers, typically use phrases that sound like one thing but mean something else. Now, I don't think that they're trying to bait and switch anybody. I don't think they're trying to be deceptive. It is available for purchase. That is true. Whether they'll ship you one, I don't know. I don't know if it's actually in the hands of the people who are taking your money. And I think that customers think available for purchase means that it's ready to be shipped to them. When they buy it, they're going to get something. I think companies use the phrase it's ready for purchase like that could include pre-orders, or that could include we're taking orders while they're in container ships coming across the ocean. So, hey, thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate that. Yeah, we're starting to evolve into our space, even if this is going to be a temporary space, trying to slowly evolve into this. Whatever happened to your Ember mug? The Ember mug is downstairs on the charger. I use it occasionally, just not today. But yes, it is around. It's still charging, still takes a charge, which is nice. It only lasts about 40 minutes, though. So I think I've had that for, 3 years, 4 years? So Video Guys show it's pre-order, shipping end of September. Okay, well, that's another 2 weeks away, end of September. Like today's the 17th. End of September. Today is not the end of September. This is October. So let's jump over Video Guys, which, by the way, is an extension, for those of you who don't know, it's an extension of Broadfield. This is their retail front. Okay, so they have the X1 front and center. That's cool. The X4. Here we go. Yes, you are actually not kidding. The Video Guys are expecting it shipping by the end of September. That was 2 weeks ago. So that will need to be updated, or maybe not. Maybe they put that on there so they will get their products quicker. I don't know. But interesting. Chad, hey, what's going on? Today is late September. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. They're probably all in shipping containers off the Eastern Coast while the union guys figure out their strike. Are they? I thought the shipping ports that was settled. And, well, anyway. Yeah, when were the port strikes? Let's say, what did you say? Eastern or Western? It's got to be Western, right? They're coming across from China? Let me go back here. What did you say? Off the Eastern Coast, and I doubt it's on the Eastern Coast. I don't think there are any Western. I don't think there are any Western port strikes right now. What the East and Gulf Coast port strike means. Map of port strikes affected. Product impacts. Okay, let's go here to this is Fox 5, New York. I don't want to see. Okay. So, yeah, no. They're coming across from China, if anywhere, and there are no port strikes on the Western Coast. So, can't use that one. They come into, I believe, LA is where they ship into, but I don't know why Nightbot pulled you down. Who are you, my evil twin? Who pulled who? Why? Why did that get pulled down? I don't know who said that. Let me pull that up. Yeah, so the studio has evolved a little bit. Nightbot doesn't like my posts. What did you say? All right, now I got to go into Nightbot and find out what you said. Are you being inappropriate again? I'm going to log in with YouTube. Here we go. Logs. There you are. Wait, you just said backlog? Why did that get pulled down? I don't understand. Let's go to words and see if we can't find out if that word is on here for some reason. Nope, that word is not on here. Too many periods? I don't know. No idea. Ooh, Nightbot just updated their interface. It's so fancy. Check this out. Ooh, looks a little more user-friendly than the previous spreadsheet version they had. Very nice. Very nice. Well done, Nightbot. All right. So, as I said a little bit earlier in the show, I am in the business of, yeah, I said backlog. I think it was the excessive periods that you used. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, so I'm in the process of designing a new recording space, not only for this show, but for recording in general, having a place to record music, record video stuff. It's going to be a little multi-purpose, but more geared towards recording in general, so video and audio. And I'm going to be designing a quiet room to do some of that stuff because I want to be able to do voiceover, vocalists, instruments, or whatever. So I'm going to be building a room that's kind of soundproofed, and then I'm going to be building another space that's not quite as soundproof, where we're going to actually run the soundboard. I'll probably use the X32 Core to start. My computer space will be in there, a few other things. But for those of you who have done recording or have used studio space before, both for video and for audio, I need to know the pros and cons that you've encountered, because you can kind of pay whatever you want to do this. In particularly like soundproofing, some people say, just use double drywall, use some the soundproofing glue, use the soundproofing tape, use the hangers for the studs so that you can eliminate vibrations. There's the sky's the limits as to what it is that you really need to do to make a quiet space. And part of the issue is vibration, right? Wood studs connected to wood floors mean that when you walk around on things or bump into things, then the whole place vibrates. And so that's where, for example, things like the channel, the actual strip channels that you hang your drywall on, that kind of eliminates some of that, because they have like a rubber grommet in them that eliminates the vibration. You can do that with flooring as well, I have found out, but it all costs money. Like, it all costs thousands of dollars. And so if you're going to try and, I don't know, build it yourself, you may want to do certain things. You may want to avoid others. Like, for example, I've heard mixed reviews on like the mass vinyl coverings for walls. Some people love it, some people hate it. And I don't know if anybody's ever had experience with that, but be very interested to know. Are you going to be singing your unboxing videos now? So actually, what you don't know is I actually do have a bit of a musical career. Yes, unboxing by song. I'm not a songwriter. I might have a small musical career, and one that was a little more active about 10 years ago. But you don't know. You don't know about that, and I have not shared that with you. But given the register of my voice, I have a very specific part of music that I'm able to sing. I'm vocally inclined. I also married a musical wife, and so she is a very strong alto, but can do a lot of lead stuff and has a great voice for that. And I also belong to a musical community, and so there are musicians in town, in Nashville, that I know who would maybe appreciate an inexpensive recording space. So maybe I'll do a little singing unboxing. The beautiful thing about songwriting is you don't have to be good at it anymore. AI will take care of that for you. So I could write a song. It could even do the music, quite frankly, and then I could just, dub it in there. So there you go. With the studio, airflow is in my option is the biggest issue. Agreed. I have spent a lot of time figuring out how to do airflow, heating and cooling in a space like this, in a quiet room. And I've looked at those, like sound boxes that you build in a wall that basically is a channel that's insulated with, decent foam or something like that, where the air has to flow through and bounce off of these curves to get through, and then an air return the same way on the other side of the room. And, probably the intake being at the base of the room, so on the floorboard somewhere, or at the bottom of the wall, and then the intake on the top of the wall coming back down, because heat rises. So if you need to exchange the air in that room and you don't want it to be a hot box, you want to take the hot air out, which gathers at the roof. So you have an exhaust basically going out of the room at the top of the room, and you build two of these little boxes, and then inside of them you would build a replaceable fan system that would actually move the air through, and then you cool the main room. So the intake would be in the studio, and then you do this where the sound and the air, the sound of moving air would be eliminated through these boxes, but you would need to be able to repair those fans. You don't want to destroy your wall every time you need to replace those fans, and they need to be ultra quiet. And so Noctua fans, big ones, or something of the like, you could do. They do make here you go. Chad says use something called a duct muffler in line with the vents for HVAC. So this is, I believe, what you're referring to as their ducts, usually flexible ones that are lined with like insulation, almost looks like a pillow type of what am I trying to say here? It's almost, it's an insulated covering, but it's on the inside, and so air makes noise too when it goes around corners and things like that. It has the potential for actually making an audible sound. And so what you want to do is create this like snake, where as the air flows through, it has to go around these corners that are insulated, or at least they're cushioned, and the cushion takes that sound as it goes along and removes it. And so then when the air is coming out of the vent, it's dead quiet when it enters, and it's dead quiet when it exits. So that is something I have spent a lot of time thinking about, and I agree full-heartedly with Jeremy that figuring out your HVAC airflow is important. It is like, if not the most important thing, it's right up there along with the top three, I think. I built a soundproof broadcast control room, R31 installation, double stud, airlock door, etc. So that is fascinating. What do you do with the airlock? So you have a double door, one that opens on the inside and one that opens on the outside, and then those rooms are sealed? Is that what type of door did you use? And no, it was not a screamer band. It literally looks like a muffler for a car. Oh, interesting. Okay, that I haven't seen. I've seen those insulation the flexible ones. And those are fine if you're going to build a box, like an HVAC box. Then you can use like this insulated acoustic flexible ducking. Ducting? That's not a word. All right, here we go. Now, this is a European company, but this, I don't know about the reflective material inside. I think you wouldn't want it to be reflective because that would just carry the sound. The sound waves would bounce off of that. But I have seen it where it is, basically a fabric. And it almost looks like the type of fabric, there's a cushion behind it, but then it's like moving blanket fabric. I've seen that done. I've seen that a fair bit in where to buy it. So in your build for, where are we here? So I've seen the double stud option. I don't know if I need it to be that quiet because, I wouldn't mind it. But how much real estate do you lose? Like if you do a double stud, and wait now, you did double stud but not double wall. Is that right? Because double stud I can get on board with. Double wall is different. Like you lose space in your significant amount of space because everything creeps in. And it's not going to be an enormous recording booth, unfortunately. It might be, what is it going to be? Well, I'm going to have to look it up now because now I can't remember. And you know what? It's all flexible. The room that I'm working with is like a 20 by 20 foot room. And I get to pick and choose how much of that is booth and how much of that is studio. So I don't necessarily foresee me having bands here. That's not the type of recording that I particularly do. But I would like a space that is big enough for me to do video recording stuff. And now that I think of it, maybe I should just have a small office and a bigger booth. Anyway, I'll think that through. The walls were 13 inches thick. So we had a door at the inside surface and outside surface, solid core door with a door sweep that lowers when ... That lowers when it closes. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I've seen those. Yeah, those are neat. Not cheap, as I recall. Pretty expensive. And this will be truly the first involvement of me doing it all. And so it will be a labor of love. I'm sure I'll be up here this time next year. I do need to get some permits from the city and one permit from the builder to actually go ahead with it. But my property goes back a fair ways and into some woods. And so I have a nice clearing section back there that I want to use for this. And it'll kind of be away from the road and away from the noise. But I do need the recording studio space to be quiet. And unfortunately, there's a quarry not far from here. And they continue to have the stupid siren that goes off at random all the time. And I think it's when they're loading the trucks. But it wakes us up at 6:30 in the morning. And it's really annoying. Now, granted, my wife is already awake because she's going to school, but it wakes me up. If I'm not up at 6:30, then it gets me up. Sometimes I'm already awake because I'm trying to help her get out the door with the kids. So double stud and double 5/8 drywall on the walls with rubber clips and triple 5/8 on the ceiling. It was under the balcony seating. Oh, interesting. Triple 5/8 on the ceiling. Holy smokes. Did you use the green glue between those sheets? What are people's impressions of green glue, by the way? Because we use green tape in a raised audio booth that we did for an auditorium. So this building I was working with, they had all their audio equipment on the same level as their audience, and it was just like in a little desk writer's desk, like that you close the lid on. It was awful. And so it was what they could do at the time, but the time came for us to make something better. And so we made a sound booth. And this raised us up above the audience, first of all, but it also gave us kind of a barrier so that people stopped walking into the sound booth and asking us questions when we're trying to do a job. So we built that, and on the flooring, on the studs, we used green tape, and that flooring, it was there for, I think it's going on 10 years now, and it's still dead quiet. No no issues, no creaks, no squeaks, no nothing. So I've seen double stud walls that were 5 inches thick. Each 2x4 was 1.5 inches offset. Took the 100 decibels for the auditorium to 40-ish in the control room. That's amazing. And yes, we use green glue. See, I'm pretty convinced about the green glue stuff. You have to be pretty generous with it, right? But if you're doing double on the walls and triple on the ceiling, that might be, that's interesting. Well, anyway, I'll have to think that through too. But triple on the ceiling, that's a lot of weight up there, by the way. Yeah. Yes, you can interleave the studs as well, as long as one side doesn't physically touch the other. It will stop the vibration. And I think that's what I'm most concerned about. I'll send you some pictures. That would be awesome. I think that's what I'm most concerned about is the vibrations. Like, this is going to be a small neighborhood by the time everything gets done. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Hopefully not. This microphone's pretty great. But there's construction going on next door, and this truck keeps beeping and carrying on, which might kill my stream, by the way, because they're dealing with some electrical stuff. And so $10 says they pull the power before the show is done. But the vibrations, sound, all that stuff. We are somewhat close to a major interstate that isn't as busy as the next interstate, but it's busy enough and there are a lot of trucks on it. And so I'd love to have a space that's just dead quiet and can remove a lot of especially the low frequencies that end up happening. But we'll need to see what we can afford. Because I'm sure if money were no object, then we could definitely have that done. But money is an object. So we'll have to consider that as time goes along. And I've over time, I've made this increasingly bigger and bigger, like this building. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I am interested in thinking through this studio space because, so green glue for sure, 5/8 drywall, which is basically the thickest you can get it. You did double on the walls and triple on the ceilings. What about the flooring? The flooring here will be wood studs. And so I will need to do something about that. And I may do green tape all the way throughout just to save myself the hassle. But in the recording space itself, I want that to be dead quiet. So did you do double on the floors? Like, did you use presswood? Did you use plywood? What did you use? Or maybe you had concrete flooring because it was a building. So there's that too. Okay. Where are we here? Now, another thing I've been looking at, by the way, is a little different camera. I'm hoping to still get my hands on an X5 from BirdDog. Just haven't done that yet. Haven't been able to coordinate that yet, but maybe one day. And give it a good try. I want to see how it goes and see if we can make that a reality. But I haven't been able to secure that yet, and so it is currently not here. The one of the cameras that I've actually been really interested in for my own personal use is the Blackmagic Pocket 6K G2 camera. Man, that's a mouthful. And it has an EF mount, which I know that EF lenses are kind of on their way out, but those are all the lenses that I have. And Pocket Blackmagic G2 6K. Has anybody used this camera? It is available for like $2,000. And I would need to save my pennies to do something like this. But if anybody's ever used this camera before, please let me know. No, I don't want to save. products. Yeah, products. Professional cameras. Now, I know that there are some accessories that don't come with this thing, and this recent launch of this guy is intriguing for 3. But I think to get started in this game, I'd like to go here and try this camera. I'm quite used to now the Blackmagic menus and stuff because it is very intuitive. The best in the business, I think. Way better than Canon, way better than Nikon. And in terms of getting around the camera itself, it makes the most sense. And I would really like to try this camera out as my main camera when I'm kind of starting out doing some video stuff. But I don't have any experience with it. The only experience I have with Blackmagic cameras is those big studio cameras that I have, the 6K studio cameras. So has anybody used the Pocket 6K? I know there was a 4K, but has anybody used the 6K? I'd be very interested. Hey, we had a cement slab, but the alternate option was building a sandbox with a 1-inch layer of sand and building your subfloor on there. Oh. Interesting. No, please no Blackmagic. All right, Jeremy, tell me why. I had the original Pocket 6K and liked it. I thought it was the Micro Four Thirds mount being replaced. I thought it was the Micro Four Thirds mount being replaced with an L mount. Get a real camera like a Sony FX3 full frame cinema camera. I've heard about the FX3, but to be quite honest with you, there's not a ton of people saying go to that camera. So we can look that up. FX3 cinema camera, full frame. So that is twice the price. It's $4,000, man. So that's one of the things about that Pocket 6K. This is running. So they are asking right here, E-mount $4,000. Whereas this guy is going to run $2,000. Like it's 19 something, 1973. And this one is 38.98. Okay. I'd be all about it if I could get this camera for $2,000. Absolutely. I think I would be very interested in that. But again, price point is key, especially if you're starting out and you don't actually have an income. So, what makes the Sony FX3 $2,000 better than the Pocket 6K G2? I would be very interested to know what the reasoning is for that, because I'm game. I'm game to look into it and find out. I'm not sold on it. I'm asking, questions as to, hey, what do people think about this camera? But if it's twice the, if I could buy 2 of these 6K Blackmagic cameras for the price of one Sony FX3, what makes it worth twice the price? Literally, if it's like, well, they're cheaper, they're going to break faster. It's like, yeah, but I could buy 2. So I could buy 2 and use one until it breaks and then use the other one until it breaks. Like, and granted, I have a Canon RP and it's worked for me for, I don't know, I think I've had it for 3 years or something like that. So I'm all about it. B&H Photo, if we just do, if I say G2 Pocket, I don't know why they call it a pocket camera, because your pocket would have to be absolutely monstrous in order for that to actually fit in a pocket. But anyways, it is compact. But look, $19.95 or $38.98. That's a lot of money. And for, what I'm starting out doing, I don't know. Now, granted, you can pay whatever you want for cameras, like there are $14,000 cameras out there. some people are like, oh, I only shoot in red. It's like, well, red, you need all of their accessories to really make it work. And so you're going to be, maybe the red body is $8,000, but you're really going to be in like 15 by the time you have a usable camera, which I just don't agree with. I don't know. I think for what I want to do, and by the way, I use DaVinci Resolve for all my editing. And so you can shoot in Blackmagic RAW on the Pocket 6K and bring it in and have all that data natively talking. So I don't know about the shooting styles for the Sony FX. Maybe we could find out here. Cinetone. Looks like that's maybe their version. But why? So the question still remains, I think. From what I've heard from other Blackmagic owners, they burn up and they can't color match as well, so it doesn't hold. Okay, that's a legit reason. If you have one camera and not color matching, then maybe that doesn't matter. Well, that would be kind of the idea. Like I've got, for example, at the studio that I shoot at in Nashville, we've got 2 Blackmagic studio cameras, 6K cameras. They're both the same. They both have the same lenses on them. And they're pretty close in terms of color. Like I can use the data from those and match them on a computer, which is actually really nice. I don't have to use the viewfinder or anything like that to get them to match. They talk, because we have the studio option as well. So they talk to the computer in our tech booth, and I can match them there right next to each other. So I do like that. I like that versatility, and I think that that's the customer-facing option that in a multi-camera situation, I would be looking for like ecosystem options. Now, it may put me in a different world in terms of, well, I'm not serious enough about video if I'm using Blackmagic. And I have heard from my European friends and former employees that various studios wouldn't consider you serious if you showed up with Blackmagic gear. However, I also know that the average customer doesn't know the difference between a Blackmagic and a Sony FX3. They just see big lens, or they just see camera equipment, or they see a Steadicam rig or a body cam or a fly cam or whatever, and think, wow, he's got a lot of stuff. So if you, now I'm not interested, by the way, in like doing weddings or even really live streaming. I do that for a living. And so I'm not interested in live streaming events. Although if the price was right, I guess I would make an exception. Everybody has a price. But that coffee's getting cold, so let's go ahead and if only I had my Ember mug. But it's good though. I take, now that I work from home and a little less stress, we'll say, I definitely take more time to make good tasting coffee. And I think I'm almost at the point where I need to find me a Breville coffee machine, because I take enough time to make it anyways. I use my Keurig every day, whereas when I was at Bird Dog, I was making a pot of coffee and there were like 2 of us that were drinking it, and so I would drink all of that coffee and just be fine. And I would drink a pot of coffee before I got there. No, fair enough. I drink half a pot of coffee before I got to work, and then I would drink most of a pot of coffee each day at work. Now, the Mr. Coffee machine that we bought was nothing compared to good coffee. So I was drinking it purely for the caffeine. And, I drink coffee on the show and whatever. But now that I work from home, I drink multiple cups of coffee every day. I've had to go to reusable K-cups because I was burning through those things like crazy. But then that also gives you the option of buying different types of ground coffee or grinding your own coffee. Now, I haven't figured out how to get the ground coffee to work right in the refillable K-cups. I just haven't been able to make a strong enough cup of coffee, I'll say. Maybe I need to grind down the beans a lot finer than I am, but whatevs. But the K-cup stuff that I get the pre-ground in various forms, naturally Tim Hortons, but Starbucks and a few other brands, and that's good stuff. So, all right. Sesh Beats says hey, first of all, thanks for joining us today. Hey, I've heard great things about the Blackmagic cameras. I'm using a Nikon D3300 at the moment, but I want to get a Sony Alpha 6100. I have heard about the Sony Alphas. They seem pretty great. Again, I don't in a studio situation. Okay, well, and I'm in like a bunch of different places. Oh, first of all, you guys have been saying things. Jeremy says, so all the video I've seen on Sony's are much smoother in my opinion. I have never really liked the video from Blackmagic devices. It's like Hitachi cameras, just meh. And also Ember Truths. I've worked with multiple professional tennis tournaments shown on the Tennis Channel and around the world, and all of them were done on Ursa broadcast and micro studio cameras. Fascinating. AeroPress just came out with a new unit, AeroPress Pro Plus. Well, it's hard to say. Take a look. Got to run, though. Hey, Jeremy, I appreciate you, man. You've been around for a long time with me, ever since my first NAB New York. So it's a pleasure to see you again, man. Hopefully you're doing well. And if you're ever passing through Tennessee, look me up, man. I don't know if it says more about the cameras or the people who hired us. Fair enough. See, this is like mixed reviews. There's a lot of guys that do video stuff and they post it up on YouTube, and I think it looks great. And they're using Blackmagic Pockets. I actually haven't seen a lot of studio cameras, but they're using a lot of the Blackmagic Pocket stuff. You can get in the game for under $2,000. You know what I haven't seen a lot of is the micro cameras. I haven't seen people raving about those, other than they can hide them in places in studios. But they're $1,000, so you'd think that they'd be more versatile than they are. I just don't know. And now in my business and the things that I'm thinking about for my future video stuff, I'm not really looking too much at PTZ options. It would be nice to have a PTZ as your standard like follow cam. Obviously, not necessarily for this room because I'm just sitting on a chair, but I do have a studio where presenters are walking around on the stage, and it'd be nice to have that follow AI stuff that's going on inside of the X5. I hear it's fairly good, better than the first gen, like easily 2 or 3 steps ahead. But I have man cameras, I have people on cameras, and I just got to teach them how to follow subjects on stage. So yeah, the new Ursas are the same sensors as the Pocket 6K G2s. Oh, interesting. Then why is it $1,000 more? Because I would be down for those cameras. But it seems like it's just configured the same way, or configured differently than the Pockets. But if it's the same sensor, then that's interesting. Yeah, I really have seen a lot of good work done with the Pocket cameras, guys that are doing run and gun. And in my brain, I think that that's more of what my style is doing more run and gun shooting. But I'm not too sure if, I don't know. I just am going to end up investing in something, and I want to be convinced that that's what I want to do. So open to all sorts of options. I don't know. I will reach out to my Bird Dog team, friends that I have, about what the story is with the X4 over the past couple of weeks. I did go to we went to Kentucky last week, and that's where I was instead of this show. And we went to a national park, Mammoth Caves National Park in Kentucky. And man, that was really cool to get to see that. It's, if you haven't been, do the tour. The walkthrough tour is quite nice. We did the historic tour, which basically talked about what the caves were used for originally. You end up going down these huge stairs and going in. This is the entrance to the historic cave that they have used, so that was pretty neat. Our tour guide was pretty good. He had an interesting way of forming his sentences, and so it wasn't necessarily the smoothest talk to listen to, but hey, some people might say that about me. So, beggars can't be choosers. It was worth my whole family. By the time it was done, about $90 for the tour. The tour was a couple of hours, and that seemed like an appropriate amount of time. The kids were a little cheaper than my wife and I to go, but we did get to walk around some pretty impressive caves that have been that have been traveled for the last couple hundred of years, but probably been forming ever since the earth has been around. So it's great to see these relics, and they happen to be right here in North America. So if you're passing through Kentucky and you're going up 65, go for it, because they do that thing where they turn the lights off. So this was after the lights came back on, but there's the tour guide there in the middle. He kind of was standing there and chatting with us. Pretty good tour, and a good way to spend the morning. Our tour started at like 11:30 and then went until afternoon. And then we walked around the park a little bit. Definitely got our steps in. Definitely burned some calories that day, and that was great. My watch had no idea where I was when I went underground. There's no cell service or anything like that. So yeah, and some tight spaces, some tight squeezes that we had to get through. Let me see if my wife took a picture of that. Yeah, here we are going down this walkway, went down these steps that were chiseled out of the stone, and then you had to lean over to get under, and I definitely whacked my head a few times on the ceiling. The guy said, as a general rule, duck. If you think you need to duck, you definitely need to. Even if you don't think you need to, you should anyway. And that was true. Very true. So it was fun. Fun to walk through the caves and see all the various things. And then there's a lot of history at that park as well. So it was good times. All right. Chad said, okay, I sent you pictures. Where did you send me pictures? LinkedIn, Facebook, probably LinkedIn, right? All right, let me pull this up. I have a new message from Chad. Hey-o. All right, let's check this out. Ooh, you even sent me construction pictures. Cool. All right, so here is stuff Chad just sent me. So we're down to metal studs. Cool. Why can't I hit next? That's annoying. All right, in goes the insulation. What rating insulation is that? R30? R15? What were you doing there? I know you said R31, but is that Rockwall, or what is that you have going in there? And then drywalled up. And then this is your, well, anyways, I guess we'll find out. We'll just keep going, John. Keep going. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Little cutout. All right. And then here's the finished product. And oh man, that's cool. All right. How do I want to see this bigger. Can I download this? Ooh, and then, oh, that's stinking cool. All right. Yeah, I'm going to download these pictures. Just give me a second. I want to blow these up. So, save image. There. Save image. There. Okay. I'm going to pull these up. Yoink. They're on the desktop. And this one. Okay. Let's make these full screen. Hey, thanks for sending these, man. I love this stuff. I love it when you guys send me stuff like this. Now, okay, that's too big. All right, so here is full desktop. That's pretty stinking cool, dude. So I like your desk space. How big is this room? Could you tell me how big that is? I'm trying to get a grasp. This is like control room, right? So this is your recordings. Like this is your, not your studio, but this is where you do your recording. I see you've got multiple screens. That's such a good idea. Ugh. So stinking cool. Oh, geez, man. My brain is just going. All right, so then there's this picture, and then there's this picture right here. And we're looking through So this is looking through then. So this is the quiet room because you have your treatment here. How big is this space and how big is the other one? Be very interested to know what the answer is to those riddles. Just give me a second. I'm just going to pull open my browser over here so I can check the chat. Check the chat. Okay, so don't forget that 4K quad in there in the corner. Oh, yeah, there it is. A little shout out. Very cool. Everybody, my face is over that. Hang on. Here it is. Is it working? That's always the question, right? Very cool. Look at this. I've seen these before. Is this a programmable unit? I don't recognize the actual device. Ooh, you got a little Black Magic Confidence in there. And then you're running a Yamaha. That's a beautiful looking soundboard. I do love this little window portal into that space. That's a great idea. Is that a double window? And you have it, are those windows on an angle? Are they like on a V angle so that you eliminate reflections? Man. Let's check out this other one. So this is the actual recording space. You said the small room is a 9x7. And then the big room is 10x18. So this is the big room. And then the small room is the other one. Dude, that's slick. Way to go, man. Looks really good. I love that. And then, so wait, do you have... Okay, but those windows... the window is a 1/2-inch laminate, 2 layers of 1/4 glued together, one for each leaf of the wall. Gotcha. So yeah, that wall, if everybody can see here, it just looks like they bow out, but maybe not. But you've got 1/2-inch laminate. Oh, that's such an interesting idea. That's probably a lot cheaper than glass, right? That's so interesting. So how did you glue them together? Studio Tech Dante Comms. So your recording space has a soundboard in it? Or, because this is all treated, right? For sound? So am I understanding this right? This is your recording space because you got a microphone, but then you have a soundboard in here. And then on this side, you have like a control space, but you're not recording out here. You're not sending audio signals here. You're cutting something here, right? You're cutting the show from here. And then you're doing your audio stuff in the red room. Interesting. Ooh, Presonus. I've actually looked at these speakers. How do you like those? Do you find them? Because I've got Mackeys. I've had Mackeys forever. I've got... Let me see here. Yeah, I've got... I'll just have to look them up, I guess. A couple of sets of Mackeys. I bought a set for my home office when I was setting things up. And then I bought a set for my work office. And then my work office and my home office became the same office. And so now I've got 2 sets of speakers. Because why not? Because if you have them, why not use them? People say, well, you can just hook them up to your TV. Well, there's also a massive stereo system for that TV. And there's a massive stereo system downstairs for that TV. So I don't really need them. But I do have 3 computers in this room. So I have one set. I have 2 computers plugged into one set, the bigger Mackeys. And then my Mac, which I do my video editing on, I've got them on their own set of Mackeys. And, by the way, I found out the UMC 202 HD, which is a Behringer audio interface, when you run it over USB and you run phantom power out the ports, you get a ground loop. Just saying. Just saying. I turned that off and everything went quiet, but when I turn it on, you get like a clicking, like a static clicking sound because it's running off of the PSU from your computer's USB. So that's no good. All right, so I have the Mackie CR4 limited edition, which is the black and silver versions of these speakers. No, don't do that. Here we go. So these were the original ones, and I don't believe they're for sale anymore, but I actually really like these. They're great. Now, I've had them repaired once because the soldering in them is not great. So I took them in. The guys in Troy, Michigan, okay, Advanced Lighting and Sound, they did me a solid by fixing my little computer speakers, and I was very appreciative to them for that. So I bought these. These are great. If you can find a pair of these things, they're really good. Just the dial on them, the solder got very dirty, and so they just took the solder off of those and redid them in better solder, and now they work just fine. So those are the ones that I have purchased originally for my home studio when I was setting up in the Clarkston studio when I was doing the show from home and also working from home for Bird Dog. Then I bought a pair of Mackie speakers, and these are actually not the ones shown. I have a set of black Mackie speakers with a blue outline around them. These are, I think, the same SKU, which is why they're showing, but they're 3 inches. So the other ones were 4 inches, and these ones are 3 inches. And I just bought these for work because I was really tired of not having speakers at work. And this is for the Bird Dog office. I bought these with my own money, and then when I left, I took them. And so they are at home now. They're fine. They're not amazing, but they're great reference monitors, and they do the job for what I need, and sound good. And they've been more reliable. They haven't died on me yet like the silver ones did, but the silver ones have been fixed. So there you go. There you go. All right, so when you buy laminate glasses, it comes that way. Laminate is cheaper than fully glass for the same thickness. The back room is for live mixing, but also for the musicians to record tracks. Behind the camera is their DAW. Atom Audio Near Fields are the best studio monitors on the market, in my personal opinion. Atom Audio Near Fields. Yeah, I wasn't saying these were the best, but they were certainly affordable. Now, the PreSonus ones that are in Chad's picture, they are... I've used PreSonus gear before, and they seem to be very reliable. Now, Atom Audio Near Field monitors. All right. So the difference here, let's just find the smallest ones they have, which would be... nope, that one's bigger. 4 inches. Okay, so for a single monitor, it's $500. Those reference monitors from Mackie and the PreSonus ones, I believe, are under $200 for the pair. So, yeah, these ones are going to outclass my 4-inch Mackies all day because it would cost $1,000 to get near field audio monitors, powered studio monitors for the same size driver that mine are here at home. So I spent 1/5 the price on what a pair of these would cost, and they sell an independent subwoofer in addition. Atom Audio does, which means that they would prefer for you to buy a sub as well, and an 8-inch sub is $900 there. Oh, look, this one, TV powered studio, $300. Okay, not bad. This is what, 8 inches? Okay, so you could get into the game for $600 with these guys. Here they are for the pair. Not bad. Still 3 times the price of what I paid. So not 5 times, but 3 times. I would want to hear these before I considered spending that sort of money on speakers. But I have been known to spend money on speakers, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. That's for sure. And back to the conversation is Jeremy. I like Seth Beats recommendations. Those were Scepters S8s. Not that different of price from the Atoms, actually. There you go. Jeremy, welcome back. I thought you had to peace out of here. So appreciate your meeting ending early so that you can come back and join us again. Or maybe it didn't end and you're attending both meetings at the same time. I have been known to do such a thing. Well, I'm very thank you so much, Chad, for sending over pictures of your studio. I love that sort of stuff. I will we'll pull them up again here because they're pretty fancy, and we just need to appreciate good builds like this more often. You know, give credit where it's due. These sorts of installations and builds are really cool. I would be looking to build a space like this without any of the gear, but just a recording booth that is about this size. I might flip it though. I mean, it depends, right? It depends on money, but I might flip it and use the bigger space for the recording and the smaller space for my office, because I don't really need that big of a space. I mean, the space that I'm in right here is probably 5x5, to be honest with you. So if I move to a 9x7 or a 9x9, that'd be all right. That'd be a little bit more space than I have. What I really want to do is I want a space for my computer. I've got 3 monitors that my main vMix machine runs off of, which I'm looking at right now. And then I've got another monitor that I use as my main Mac Mini monitor that I do a lot of my video editing on, whatever. What I really want is to do 2 monitors out of that Mac Mini and have a TV, nice big TV that's connected to that, and use that as my reference monitor for when I output video. So I want to be able to have DaVinci open, but then have the preview of the video on the big screen. And that way I can see full quality. I can make sure that the changes that I'm making are accurate and all that sort of good stuff. And you can also run like vector scopes and all, histograms and all that stuff on that screen as well. And so I would love to have all of that information on a nice big TV, 60 inches or more, that I could mount on the wall, much like we had here in this picture. See how he's got TVs on the walls? But then inside the recording space, I would also do something like this, where I have my monitors mirrored on these screens or something like that. And so when people are recording, we can run visuals on those screens or whatever. So that might be a good idea. And I'm going to have to think about that. I'm going to actually really have to sit down and decide on how I want this to really look, because those decisions really need to be made. But I do need to build the thing first. So there we go. That's the plan. I've been toying around with the idea of doing a raised flooring inside the recording space, but I don't know how that would work with doors, I just don't know. I'll have to think it through. So, your meeting was a no-show? I'm sorry to hear that. Well, all the better for us. The acoustics are from GIK. Very cool. So you had those ordered, you didn't build those. I have Yamaha MSP5. Looks like not available anymore. It's so funny. I have a pair of Monsoon speakers that I purchased a long time ago. Let me see if they're still in my orders. I'm pretty sure. Oh, maybe I didn't order them. And I've talked about these before. I did not order these on Amazon. Monsoon computer speakers. I ordered these back in college, and they are connected downstairs to... What are they connected to? They were connected to the piano at one point, but they are no longer connected there. They were supposed to mimic flat panel TV or flat panel computers, like monitors and stuff. Here they are. Oh, they're only $50 online. Where is this one being sold from? These are shipping out of... Oh, these ones are beat up. Anyways, I have a set of these. Let me throw these up on the screen so you can see. Here's eBay. This exact rig, this is exactly what I have. Mine are in tougher shape. Or mine have like issues with the volume knob and stuff, but you don't have to have the volume knob. You can just bypass it with a regular auxiliary cord. But it has a little subwoofer, and then it has these speakers. And I had them plugged into smart home devices. I ended up using them for the piano because the I have a nice Casanova piano downstairs, but the speakers on them are down firing and are just not as responsive. These speakers, man, I have been in love with these speakers ever since I bought them, and I'm reluctant to give them up because they just sound really good. And I had a friend that worked for the school that I was attending, and he recommended them to me, and I bought them. I think they were $75 or $80 at the time, but they just give off a really good sound, and I have used them for years, like 15 years I've used them. So I do need to make sure that they're still safe to use. I don't remember what I have them plugged into right now. It was in a pile of trash from a previous company. Oh, wow. Crazy. Yamaha MSP5s. All right, now I'm curious. MSP5. Oh. They're available on Amazon. MSP. Oh, these are not MSP5s. These are MSP3s. Something like this? Similar to these? I don't see any pictures. MSP5 studio monitors. Oh, okay. Here they are. Yes, currently not available. Is this your picture? That's cool. Really cool. Oh, he's got a camera rig in the corner here. Yeah, this is cool stuff, man. You're not doing any video recording in this room, eh, Chad? I still use a set of four-year-old Roland DS50As for my home surround sound system. So I was really fortunate because I found a complete set of Infinity speakers, and including in this room is where all those heavy speakers are because downstairs it was pretty bulky. But I've got Infinity speakers all the way through, and they're not the most expensive and probably not the highest fidelity speakers in the world, but it's so nice to have a complete set. And I had to go to like pawn shops, and I had to go, my two front positional speakers are, I found them it was during COVID is when I found those, and they were, I forget what was going on, but he posted them on Facebook, and I was like, I'd like to come by and see it. And it was during the days where you weren't allowed to go into stores. And so I met him out in front of this pawn shop. It was so sketchy, and looked at the speakers, decided I wanted them, took them, and I've been happy with them. And then I have towers for the Infinity for the front, like left and rights. I have a full center speaker. They came out with a secondary one that was much smaller, and I hated it. I didn't want that. So this one has like 4 speakers in it. It's huge compared to what it really needs to be. And this room is not really that big. So I need to update the TV that's in here because it's just a 1080 TV that's been with me for many years, for most of my marriage. And then, but the receiver's great. Everything's Infinity. Even the surround sound speakers are Infinity. And yeah, they're in great shape. So it's nice to have a complete set. And the only thing that isn't an Infinity speaker, which I don't think they made, is the subwoofer. That is a Mackie. That's a Mackie 15-inch like speaker for a band. It's overkill. But yeah, she kicks, man. If you watch the opening sequence of Top Gun or the launch sequence of Apollo 13, those are some, or like any battle from Lord of the Rings. It's pretty great. Love it. That wireless rig is a Panasonic CX-10 on a Teradek Bolt. Nice. The filming was directly on the other side of the wall with a green screen. Oh, right on. Good old green screen. Similar to what we were looking at. Right on. Well, I really love it. I'm a big fan of this stuff, and I'm like, it's so much money to build this. That's my hesitancy, but I need to get on with it. So, yeah, good times. I'm really looking forward to moving. My wife's looking forward to it because we're going to build some storage, and she can't wait for us to have some storage space. So, moving a lot of this stuff that's in my office. You can't see it because my camera is strategically placed, but you may recall previous shows where I had Home Depot boxes behind me. There are less Home Depot boxes, but that's just because we've emptied them, and now those things are sitting here, and the boxes are gone. So, baby steps, everybody. Maybe by Christmas, we'll be kind of living in this space appropriately, but I would really love to take this computer rig out of here and have a proper desk space to do all of that, and that I believe is in the cards for 2025. So wish me luck. We'll plan on that, and of course, as I go along building it, I'll be taking photos and updating you guys on that whole process. So that'll be pretty fun. All right, I think I need to step off of here and get back to work because I do have a job that I make money at. So I need to do that, and thank you so much, everybody, for coming along for this ride. I always appreciate you guys checking in and, being a part of the conversation. Really love the fact that you guys continue to join me, even if I miss a week. So I promise I won't do that very often. So, hey, thanks for appreciating my work. I feel seen. It's beautiful, man. Well done. I'm a big fan. If I have questions, I might be picking your brain on this show. So, hey, are you going to build a server room too? Ooh, that's not a bad idea. Maybe I'll allocate some space for a server room, or at least a proper server rack. Fascinating. That may be. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. My computers are pretty quiet, by the way. They're not making loud noises. I can make the 4250 make some noise, but maybe, I don't know, maybe the server room might be overkill. I have a really nice going away present that I got when I left Bird Dog. They were getting rid of my network rack because they weren't going to use it. And this network rack came from an NAB show. And so I went to visit the guys one last time before I left for Nashville, moved to Nashville. And it was sitting, waiting to be disposed of. And so I said, are you guys getting rid of that? And they said, yeah. And I said, can I just take that off your hands? And they're like, absolutely. So it came home and went directly into a shipping container. And it came all the way down to Nashville with me. And so I should put a Bird Dog sticker on it, although I don't think I have Bird Dog stickers. I should, oh, you know what? It has a Bird Dog sticker because it has a spacer. They left a spacer in it, and so there's a Bird Dog sticker inside. So there's my paying my respects to my previous employer, which gave me a lot of experience, and I got to meet a lot of great people, and many who are still really good friends these days. And so I do miss those guys. I miss working on that team. It was a good time in my life. So that's here, and yeah, good stuff. You can double as for Bitcoin mining. Can make some money. I would have to learn how all that works because I'm not 100% sure how that actually functions. So I will Google that and decide whether or not that is something in the cards for me in the future. But maybe I need to. Won't you burn up your? If you're needing a quiet space for your servers, wouldn't that burn up your graphics cards and stuff? They're running that hard all the time. I don't know. I feel like it would. But all right. Thanks everybody. Thank you for coming along. Thanks for joining in the chat and having a good conversation with me. Always appreciate you, and hopefully you have found something useful, if not just a chance to hang out and chat and with like-minded people. Always appreciate you. Thanks for coming along. If you have any questions, leave them in the chat. I'll try and answer them the next time we do this. The plan is next Thursday, 10 o'clock Central Time, right here at the John O'Canute YouTube channel and over on Twitch. We are streaming to both of those platforms. So thanks for hanging out with us. Always appreciate you, and we will see you guys next week. Plan to join us. Look forward to it. Bye, guys.